All right, we're going to start this one listening to the announcers brainwash you about LeBron James.
The type of player that can absolutely change the course of a game in a short amount of time.
No. If you have looked at history, LeBron James disappears in the fourth and will make sure that if you had a chance to win, you'll lose it because of him. And let's rewind that since LeBron got packed. That's worth a rewind. By the way, the Kings are up 20.
LeBron James gives keys to Lakers offense in statement win over Clippers. Los Angeles, coming out of the All-Star break, there was no easing back into competition for LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. In a tightly packed Western Conference playoff race, every possession matters, and every game carries weight. Facing their crosstown rivals, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Lakers delivered one of their most cohesive offensive performances of the season in a critical victory. The first game after the break often brings rust. Timing can be off, rotations can lag, shooting legs may not be fully under players after a week of rest and festivities, but the Lakers showed no such hesitation, exploding 441 points in the opening quarter and setting the tone with crisp execution and confident perimeter shooting. At the center of it all was James, who not only contributed on the floor but also clearly articulated what fuels the Lakers' offensive engine. When we're sharing the ball and we're moving the ball and we have 25+ assists in the game, we're a pretty good team, James said post-game. We want everybody to feel involved. That philosophy translated directly into production. The Lakers recorded 31 assists on 44 made field goals, a clear indicator of intentional ball movement and trust within the offense. James and Luka Dončić each dished out 11 assists, orchestrating the flow while ensuring teammates were active participants rather than spectators. Ball movement as identity. The Lakers' early offensive surge wasn't built on isolation brilliance. It was built on pace, spacing, and unselfishness. Swing sequences forced defensive rotations. Skip passes created open threes. Secondary cuts punished over-helping defenders. James emphasized that the key isn't just passing for the sake of passing, it's purposeful movement combined with ball security. We try to have low turnover games, he explained. Not turning the ball over and giving teams pick sixes, but just everybody feeling the ball. Turnovers have plagued the Lakers in stretches this season, often leading to transition opportunities for opponents. Against a Clippers team powered by Kawhi Leonard, limiting those mistakes was crucial. Leonard entered the matchup averaging nearly 28 points during a torrid stretch, playing at an all-NBA level on both ends of the floor. By valuing possessions and spreading playmaking responsibilities among James, Dončić, and Austin Reeves, the Lakers neutralized the Clippers' defensive pressure and prevented extended scoring runs. Balancing star power. Historically, Dončić has thrived in high-usage scenarios, often carrying the scoring burden deep into fourth quarters. While that style can generate explosive individual performances, James acknowledged that long-term sustainability requires shared responsibility. The Lakers' blueprint appears clear: multiple primary ball handlers initiating sets, quick decisions within the first few seconds of the shot clock, and weak side movement to keep defenders engaged. When Dončić attracts double teams, James operates as a secondary decision maker. When James initiates, Reeves becomes a cutting and spacing threat. That layered playmaking reduces predictability and forces defenses into constant adjustments. The Clippers felt that pressure throughout the night. Professional readiness. James also made a point to highlight teammates who stayed prepared despite limited early involvement. In particular, he praised a teammate who remained engaged through 3 quiet quarters before delivering key fourth-quarter baskets. That, according to James, is the difference between talent and professionalism. The Lakers' locker room understands that not every player will dominate touches every night, but in a system rooted in ball movement, opportunities can emerge at any moment. Staying ready is part of the formula. Western Conference urgency. There is little margin for error in the West. The standings fluctuate almost nightly, and seeding implications shift rapidly. For the Lakers, maintaining offensive cohesion is no longer optional, it is mandatory. The All-Star break often marks the unofficial start of the playoff push. Teams begin tightening rotations. Defensive intensity increases. Scouting becomes more detailed. Execution becomes everything. James knows that offensive identity must remain consistent through that grind. Everybody feeling involved is more than a quote, it is a strategic approach designed to prevent stagnation when defenses load up against star players in postseason settings. Leonard's impact recognized. Despite the Lakers' victory, James did not shy away from praising Leonard's excellence. He described him as one of the greatest players ever, acknowledging both his scoring efficiency and defensive dominance. Leonard's resurgence has reignited the Clippers' season and reaffirmed their contender status. His mid-range precision, physical strength, and two-way consistency continue to challenge even elite defenses. For the Lakers, containing him required collective effort, disciplined closeouts, physical switches, and strategic help rotations without overcommitting. The win did not come easily, but it reinforced the Lakers' potential when fully synchronized. An inflection point? Friday's performance could represent more than just another regular season victory. It may serve as an inflection point, a moment where identity crystallizes and roles solidify. The formula is straightforward: 25+ assists, low turnovers, shared ball handling duties, off-ball movement, professional readiness. When those boxes are checked, the Lakers resemble a championship-caliber offense. When they are not, inconsistency creeps in. James, now deep into his career, understands rhythm and timing better than most. His ability to toggle between scorer and facilitator remains one of the team's greatest advantages. The question moving forward is sustainability. Can the Lakers maintain this level of offensive connectivity against top-tier defenses? Can they preserve energy while still generating efficient looks? And can they reduce turnover spikes that have previously derailed momentum? Looking ahead, the Western Conference race will only intensify. Each matchup carries seeding implications. Each win or loss shifts playoff positioning. But if the Lakers continue to prioritize ball movement and collective involvement, they position themselves as a dangerous opponent down the stretch. James made it clear the offense begins with shared responsibility between him, Dončić, and Reeves, but it thrives when all 5 players on the floor are engaged. In a league defined by star power, sometimes the simplest formula wins: move the ball, trust your teammates, and protect possessions. For one night against their fiercest city rival, the Lakers executed that formula to near perfection. If they can replicate it consistently, the second half of the season may look very different from the first.
One more dribble. Hey, he's a shot blocker, so he want to try to create space. And when you go out here, take one more dribble, go to his chest first. That alleviates his height.
Well, I think AD listens to LeBron right through the chest.
If the first half of the season for the Los Angeles Lakers was defined by inconsistency, the opening stretch after the All-Star break is beginning to tell a different story. Friday night's statement victory over the Los Angeles Clippers was not merely about one explosive quarter or one impressive assist total. It was about structural clarity, a visible commitment to an offensive identity that had, at times, wavered earlier in the year. Defensive carryover, offensive precision. While much of the post-game attention centered on ball movement and assist numbers, the Lakers' defensive discipline quietly reinforced their offensive rhythm. By forcing difficult mid-range attempts and limiting second-chance opportunities, they were able to initiate offense in semi-transition rather than against a fully set defense. That distinction matters. When LeBron James pushes the pace off a controlled rebound, he sees the floor differently. Passing angles widen. Weak side defenders hesitate. Trailer shooters find space. The Lakers converted those early advantages into high-percentage looks, avoiding stagnant late-clock possessions that have plagued them in tighter games. The 41-point opening quarter was less about hot shooting and more about timing, early drag screens, quick reversals, and decisive drives before the Clippers' defensive shell could fully load up. The Luka-LeBron dynamic evolves. For much of the season, analysts questioned how James and Luka would coexist as dual primary creators. Both thrive with the ball. Both command defensive attention. Both can dictate tempo. Against the Clippers, the partnership looked less experimental and more refined. Rather than alternating isolations, the Lakers staggered their initiation points. On some possessions, Dončić brought the ball up while James operated from the elbow as a secondary hub. On others, James initiated early action and Dončić attacked a scrambling defense on the second side. The result, 22 combined assists and a steady offensive cadence that rarely stalled. It also reduced predictability. Instead of defenses preloading toward one star, they were forced into split-second decisions, help on the drive or stay home on shooters. That hesitation created space, and the Lakers exploited it. Austin Reeves' quiet impact. Though the assist totals grabbed headlines, Austin Reeves played a critical connective role. His off-ball cuts punished overplays, and his relocation three stretched helped defenders just enough to open driving lanes. In James' words, everybody feeling involved is not rhetorical, it's tactical. When role players touch the ball early, they defend harder, they cut sharper, they communicate more. That psychological component cannot be overstated in a playoff race where margins are thin. Containing Kawhi. The Lakers' defensive attention toward Kawhi Leonard reflected respect, not fear. Leonard, in the midst of one of his most efficient scoring stretches of the season, still found pockets to operate. But the Lakers made him work for space. They varied coverage, switching selectively, shading help late rather than early, and contesting without overcommitting. The goal was simple: avoid collapsing the entire defense and gifting open perimeter looks to the Clippers' supporting cast. Leonard's presence kept the game competitive deep into the second half, but the Lakers' balanced scoring prevented momentum swings. Western Conference pressure cooker. The NBA Western Conference remains tightly packed, with playoff positioning shifting nightly. For the Lakers, every stretch of 3 to 5 games can redefine their trajectory. The All-Star break traditionally marks a pivot point. Teams either sharpen focus or drift. The Lakers' early return suggests the former. James' emphasis on 25-plus assists and low turnovers is not arbitrary. In games where they eclipse that assist threshold, their offensive rating climbs dramatically. When turnovers spike, defensive transition breakdowns follow. It is a controllable variable, and James knows it. Sustainability questions. The larger question now becomes endurance. Can the Lakers maintain this ball movement against elite defensive units that switch everything? Can they replicate the same urgency on the second night of back-to-backs? Can they preserve James' minutes while still maximizing his playmaking gravity? The blueprint is visible. Execution over time will determine legitimacy. For now, what Friday's win demonstrated is alignment, stars embracing shared control, role players staying prepared, and a veteran leader reinforcing accountability publicly. A subtle shift in tone. James' post-game comments carried less celebration and more instruction. There was an understanding that one cohesive performance does not guarantee postseason success, but it does set a standard. The message to the locker room was clear: this is what it looks like when the offense breathes. Not forced, not rushed, not stagnant. Connected. If that connectivity becomes habit rather than exception, the Lakers may not just survive the Western Conference race, they could reshape it. The rivalry win over the Clippers may ultimately be remembered less for its final score and more for the clarity it revealed. And as the second half of the season unfolds, clarity could be the Lakers' most valuable asset. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.